I'd like to welcome you all to the Aubrey Park Hotel for my press conference for my show Out and About, which takes place on the 7th of November at York Hall, Bethnal Green. I'm really grateful to have such great talent on my show this weekend. My shows are getting better and better, and I'm so delighted to see all the fighters progressing. What we're going to do is I'm going to pass over to Steve. He's going to tell you a little bit about the fighters and talk to them, and then we'll go to questions.
So thanks very much, Olivia, and we're looking forward to a great show on Saturday. I'd like to introduce the boxers that are on the table, and we've got a trainer at the end as well. We'll have a little chat with them, and then we'll pass to the questions that are going to be asked from our database of people. First on my left is SD, who I was very, very impressed with on his debut when he fought Moses Matuvu. I spoke to Moses after the fight, and he just said that he was as impressed with SD as he's been with any other cruiserweight he's been in with in 2015. And what's really good to watch with him is he's just all action and exciting. He's one of those fighters that I believe that as time goes on, he's going to get a humongous following, and it wouldn't surprise me if in a year or two's time he's got 500, 1,000 people wanting to watch him at big shows in London, because he's got that type of talent and that type of style. Next to SD is Dave Abraham, 2-0 as a heavyweight, and he's making good progression. Dave's a good guy, and he went on a Turkey training camp earlier this year. He takes on Angelov, who's won 2 from 3. It's a step up for Dave on his third fight, and it's one that we believe he's capable of dealing with. The heavyweight division is lucrative not only financially, but also it's a division that's, if you look behind the top few in the division, it's wide open, and Dave could well come through the heavyweight division over the next few years. He's doing well, and we hope on Saturday he puts in a good performance, which we are expecting him to. Next to Dave is Rakeem Noble. Now Rakeem is somebody I've managed from the start of his career. He's now 9-0, and we've done a very good job with him, I'm sure, but we can't do a good job unless he's doing it in the ring. And his improvement has been dramatic and fast, and he's now really on the verge of going for some of the bigger names in the division. People such as Tommy Martin, Wayne Hibbert, and people like that, all on his compass and all on his radar for 2016. And he takes on, without doubt, his biggest test to date. He's taking on a 4-0 kid from Eastern Europe. But this chap who's 4-0 is 4-0 for a good reason. He's taken on decent opponents. And for Rakeem, this is his biggest test to date. And I'm sure Rakeem agrees with me that the more rounds you see Rakeem in, the better he'll be. So it's an even bigger test for him in that he's only doing it over 4 rounds. But I'm hoping to see Rakeem put on a stylish show as he moves towards titles in 2016. On my right, Jamie Arane. Jamie's come to us. He first fought 5 years ago when we started out at York Hall. He took a break from the sport. He's come back now, and he recorded a good performance against Paul O'Brien in his last fight. Jamie is trained by Terry Stewart, who's a really decent trainer down in Essex, and he's making good progress as far as I'm aware, and I'm looking forward to see Jamie step up on his last performance on Saturday. Next to Jamie, Sam Stokes. Delighted to welcome Sam to the team, and this is his first fight under the Goodwin banner. Sam's an exceptional talent, and I am sure that he'll be competing at least for Southern Area titles by the end of 2016. We'll be progressing him through at the right pace. He fights Gordon Glissich on Saturday. I'm hoping to see a good performance from Sam, and I've no doubt we'll be stepping up the rounds throughout next year, and I've no doubt that Sam will be winning the Southern Area title within 12 months or so. Next to Sam is Sam's trainer, Ross Woolgrove, who's we're delighted to be part of our team. We like to work closely with trainers, and the trainers that we select to work with. Not all trainers, I might add, but those we do have to have certain qualities. And Ross has all of those qualities. Apart from being a really good trainer, he's also a decent man. He works hard for his boxers, and his boxers come first. And they are the sort of people we want to work with, and we're delighted to be working with Ross. So, moving forward, I'd like to pass you over to Kevin, who's going to ask the questions, and then when we finish with that, we can have a chat with the boxers about some other things that are not going to be directly asked to them.
Okay, so we'll start with SD. If we go with you, if we pass the mic back across. Look, thanks for everyone to get here tonight. Obviously, we know some traffic issues, some haven't been here. SD, right, so the first question we come out said, this is from Justin Chatterton. You looked impressive in your debut fight against Moses. How do you feel you performed?
I feel like I performed. I did everything I could have done. When I look back on it now, obviously I've improved, so on this fight there will be a lot more work rate, be more explosive.
Moses Matuva is obviously quite an awkward customer to deal with. Did you find he was a bit awkward, a bit hard to pin down?
I wouldn't say awkward, I would say he was more trying to get to me. She was showboating a lot, just, you know, see past it, wouldn't let it get to me, stick to my game plan.
Is it tempting when you've got someone like Moses Matuva who's trying to goad you into fight? Is there a part of you that wants to get involved in that fight?
It's tempted to stop boxing and start rumbling with him, but at the same time I know I can't lose my head in the ring. I know that's what he wants. So I stay to what my coach tells me, my injury tells me, and got the win.
Alright, that's fantastic. And the next one is from an Adam Knight. It says, did you have much experience as an amateur or on the unlicensed before you turned professional?
As an amateur I only had one.
Okay.
I didn't really enjoy wearing head guards. so I went to the unlicensed. In unlicensed I had 13, but I had 12 of my fights as a heavyweight, which were mostly won by TKOs. It was good, it was a good experience, but it's not as high work rate as the pros. There's a lot more work now, it's better. It suits me better to do the pro than the amateur.
And that's what I was going to ask you, what is the difference between, for obviously a lot of the casual fans watching and obviously going to see this, what is the difference, the main difference between the unlicensed and the professionals? The
rounds are longer, so now I've got to be fitter, a lot fitter, the work rate's a lot harder, but I enjoy it more, that's what I'm built for.
Alright, fantastic. SD, that's all we've got for you, so if you can pass the mic to David. Okay, David, so this is from a Brian Denham. It says, what advice would you give to any young amateur that's turning pro now?
I guess make sure you've got as much amateur experience as possible, because I think that has helped me. And yeah, make sure you really think about it before you sign that contract. Because the day I signed that contract with Steve, something happens inside you that goes, you know, I'm going to fight for my family name. I'm going to be, you know, I'm going to do something with my life. So it's not a decision to be taken lightly.
So when you said have amateurs, how many? I mean, there's no base, but how many do you think amateurs people should have before turning professional?
So I had 25. So, you know, and in that I could have had more. The type of fighter I am is I used to go to people's backyards, and you know I only fought in a home show maybe twice. So I'm used to travelling, having the judges against me, having everything against me, and you know, coming out victorious. I'm someone that's not afraid to get in the ring with anybody, and it's not just words. I've backed it up. I've been in the ring with a heavyweight champion of the world, Olympic gold medalist. You know, the guys fighting tonight. You know, Joshua and Dillian. I've been in the ring with all these guys, so you know, I would just say get that experience and don't be afraid and just believe in yourself.
How much of that experience from the amateurs can you take into the pro? Obviously, it's like almost two different styles of fighting. How much of it can navigate across into the pro ranks?
I think, well, you're trying to find yourself. You know, when I first started out, I was really heavy, and I didn't. You know, your first fight, you don't even know what you're capable of. You go through a fear like no other. You know, so anyone that's never done boxing, I'm telling you, that first fight, you go through a fear, but then you get better and you learn and you keep dedicating yourself and you find who you are as a boxer. You find your own style. You stop imitating other people's style. You find out who you are, and so I'd say keep going until you find out who you are.
Okay, and the next question is from Adrian Nicholas. It said, with Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte fighting next month, do you think you can be involved in big fights like this in the future?
Yeah, most definitely. Those guys, you know, like I said earlier, I've been in the ring with both these guys, I've trained with them, and you know, being from Finchley ABC, I know Joshua very well, and we still speak. You know, after my fights, Josh calls me up and asks how I was feeling, and you know, we've got good friendship there, both from Watford. But yeah, you know, I'm not in this sport to be friends with everybody and you know, I'm here to do a job, and you know, like I said, make a name for myself, and yeah, I want to be on the big fights as well. And yeah, this is just a stepping stone now, and we'll get to the big fights. But Saturday comes first, and yeah.
So just come on that. Obviously, you sparred with both guys. What's your prediction between Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte? Who do you think wins?
Everyone hates a fence sitter, so I'm going to. My prediction is I think Anthony Joshua wins the fight, but I think it goes longer. I think it goes into the maybe 6th round or something like that. But both guys are tough. Both guys are genuine fighters. Both guys believe, you know, and both have ambition past December 12th. So my prediction is Josh. You know, he's my guy as well from Finchley. So yeah, I wish them both luck, and you know, I'll be praying for both those guys not to get seriously injured in the fight.
Although, SD, can I just ask you that same question? Who you think Anthony Joshua Dillian Whyte fight? Who you think would is going to win that fight?
I think Joshua's going to win the fight, but like I said, it's going to go. It's not going to be a 1-round fight. It's going to go the distance, 6 rounds, 7 rounds.
All right, thank you. If you pass it up to Rakeem for me, please. Right, Rakeem, this is from Brian Jones on the email. It says, when are you going to make the step up and fight for the Southern Area title?
When am I going to fight for the Southern Area title? Well, hopefully early next year at some point. I'm hoping March, possibly get the winner of Ryan Taylor and Ben Day. So as soon as possible, hopefully.
And do you think you're at that level now? Obviously, Rakeem, you think you're at Southern Area level now?
Yes, I do believe I'm at that level. I believe I've been at this level for a while, but we've just played it safe. We've taken fights. We've built me up bit by bit, got the experience. And now I think it's definitely the right time to unleash and just go for it. I think at maybe the 6th or 7th point, I could have possibly took the opportunity, but we wanted to play it safe, we wanted to make the right decisions. There's no rush in it. I'm 25, I still got a lot of time to go. So just more progression, more learning, more building up. So early next year, I think we're ready.
So obviously there's some good names in and around that level at Southern Area, Rakeem. What makes you think you're different, and what makes you think that you're better than these guys to go on and win the Southern Area title? What do you think you've got about you that perhaps the others haven't got?
What have I got about me? Well, I think all guys will say that they train hard, they're dedicated, this is their life. I can say the same things, but I've seen these other guys. I've been around the circuit, I've fought many of them in amateurs, I've trained with a lot of them, and I don't think they will bring as much to the table as we will think they will seem to think they do. They talk a big game, they're on Sky. That's about it. There's not much differentiating me from them. So on that note, I do think I'm better than these guys for those reasons.
Alright, and this is from Mike Lane, come from on Facebook. It said, why are you only fighting 4 rounds this weekend when it's your 10th professional fight?
2 reasons on that. The more rounds I do, the more tickets I gotta sell. I'm not a mass ticket seller. I sell enough to get on, I sell enough to fight. And secondly, it's not gonna go past 4 rounds anyway, so why am I paying a guy to come for 6 rounds when he's be like 3?
So you've got an unbeaten Croatian kid, Ivan Nirijak. What do you know about him? Obviously 4-0 unbeaten so far, a decent amateur. What's your prediction for the fight, Rak? Obviously a stoppage from the sound of it.
Well, my prediction is I'm going to win. I found out who he was, typed him up, still had some amateur backgrounds, and I just left it at that. I can't be focused on what he's doing, I just got to be focused on what I'm doing. I'm training right, eating right, living right. I've had 9 opponents so far come up, they've had amateur experience, they've had more fights than him. I've had Donchev, he had about 28 or so fights, he fought around Europe, handled him well. I've had Omara, fought all over the UK, handled him well. I've had Gogo Stevic. You can say he's a similar fighter to Gogo Stevic in that he's from Croatia, he's fought around the European circuit. Gogo Stevic had about 17 fights when I first him. I handled him well, so every test that I've been given so far, I've handled well to make it just 9-0. I'm not just fighting but not fighting just fighters that aren't here to win. If you actually look at my record, most of the fighters actually are coming with positive records. And I've been winning, I've been stopping them. So for that reason, I think I'll be able to handle this kid that's coming on Saturday. Unbeaten record or not, I've got an unbeaten record too. And I can work harder than him.
Alright, Steve, is there something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I want to say that Josh Warrington, who's current European champion, was still doing 4-round fights in his 8th, 9th and 10th fights. He flitted between 4s and 6s, and Josh Warrington was not a big ticket seller at some point in his career. So what's really important is when you have a boxer that might not be the biggest ticket seller in the world, is to develop them gradually, let them learn. And Rakeem has been in with undefeated fighters before. The thing is, what's going to happen when he steps up, and he will step up, he's ready for it because he's had the proper preparation. He's not been fed 6 people that are not going to throw punches back, got a 6-0 record and then been thrown in. And as I say, when Rakeem Noble fights, if any of them get past 5 or 6 rounds, they're going to be in trouble because to beat him, you're going to get him out early because he's a machine. And I'd say he's probably the guy that I've seen with the most stamina of any boxer I've seen anywhere. And you get him into round 6 or 7, he will still be relentless. And this is why he's going to beat a lot of these guys, because they're just not going to be ready for him when he comes and does it. And he knows the time's going to be his, and we're going to make the move when the time's right. And I'm sure he will be Southern Area champion minimum next year, and then he'll be on the verge of an English title. We were actually offered an English title shot already this year, which we turned down because we just didn't feel we were totally ready for it. But so we're already at that stage where the board would approve Rakeem for an English title. So we've done the build up right. But like you see with people like Josh Warrington, that if you build a fighter up correctly, they can then deliver the optimum performance. And as I say, it's not always the best fighters that get to the top, it's the best managed fighters that get there. And Rakeem, I consider we've done a good job, and I'm sure he's going to demonstrate that for everybody on Saturday.
That English title, Cam, was relatively short notice as well, Steve. I think that was part of it as well.
It was quite short notice, but to be fair, when we get to the middle of next year, I don't see anybody out there that I wouldn't put Rakeem in with next year, but by about June next year. I think the people like Johnny Coyles, Joe Hughes, Tommy Martins, John Wayne Hibbert, no problem. We'll have them middle of next year. But we want him to be 100% spot on when those times come, because people might not believe this, but I believe he'll beat pretty much all of those names that I've mentioned, and he'll beat them because of work rate, because of commitment, because of guts. Because he will be still throwing twice as many punches as they will be in round 6, 7 and 8. So unless they're going to stop him, they better beware.
Alright, so thanks. If we can go to Jamie. Hi Jamie, right, this is from a James Williams, I'm not sure where from. It said, did you enjoy being back in the pro ring after such a long time out, and will you have and are you looking to have another long break like that again?
Yeah, I'm not looking to have another long break. I'm going to keep busy now all the time. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I wasn't really happy with my performance, but I learned a lot from it. And this fight, I'm going to, obviously, when I trainer as well now, obviously, like, going to put a much better performance in.
So if you said on your comeback fight, obviously you wasn't happy in your performance. What wasn't you happy with, Jamie? What part of it, when you watched it back, was you not pleased with?
When I watched it back, it seemed like I was waiting a lot. I was throwing a lot of single shots, letting him come forward more. And now I've been working on different things, pressure, coming forward more, throwing a load of more punches. So, on Saturday night, I'm going to pull that together.
Do you think that could have been partly because obviously the long layoff you had in between fights as well? Do you think that played something towards it, or?
Yeah, I think it's sort of like a bit of ring rust. So now I've got the confidence again, yeah.
And why was the long layoff? Why did you have, obviously, from your first fight to your second fight, what was the reason you was out of the ring for so long for?
It was where my daughter, like I said, family, so I took a layoff from it. And then when I had her, I thought, that's it, I'm going to come back, one last shot. So
you've obviously changed trainers, you said now. Just tell us a little bit about your training setup now, and who you're training with?
I'm training with Terry Stewart now. He's a fantastic trainer. He took me to another level. Great sparring down there, great team. And so, yeah, he's changed my style completely. So I'm looking forward to Saturday, excited about getting back in there.
Is there anything particular you've been working on? I mean, I don't want to give you away any secrets things. Is there anything you've been particularly working on for this fight that we hope to see at the weekend?
Mainly, like I said earlier about keeping away little single shots, so we've changed that completely. So it's mainly now coming forward, pressure, stuff like a load of punches. So yeah, I can't wait.
So obviously you've seen all the screens that's gone up at York Hall now. Are you excited about your big entrance and coming out in front of the screens in your entrance video?
Yeah, I'm actually more excited about the entrance than the fight. I can't wait.
Alright, and the next one is from a Callum Brompton. It says, are you a full-time professional or do you have a day job? If you have a day job, what is it you do?
Yeah, I have a day job at, actually work at York Hall lifeguarding as well. So it's a second home as well there.
So you spend a lot of time in York Hall and obviously going back there to fight this weekend?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Alright Jamie, that's great, thanks. If you can pass it to Sam for us. Sam, right, this is from Harry Budgeon. It said, it's a bit spicy this one, Sam. It says, do you lack power? You've had 3 pro fights, but you've not stopped anyone yet.
Well, if you look at the type of opponent I've had, they've all been quite durable, you know, so I don't think that reflects with what sort of fighter I really am, you know.
What sort of fighter are you, Sam? Obviously, Sam, what would you describe yourself as the fighter that you think you are? How do you describe yourself as a fighter?
Well, I don't often get hit, so I think that's a bonus really in boxing, really. If my coach was to tell you, I think if I put him on the bike now, he'll tell you what sort of fighter I am, really.
Passing the buck. Basically, what you've got in Sam is a middleweight fight, and he's been thrown in against light heavyweights, and big lads are a lot bigger than him. And I think it's common sense says keep it long, score, and the bottom line is to win. You know, if he's got a lad the same size as him in front of him, and he fancies it, he can let his hands go. But when you're messing around with lads, you know, light heavy, which he has been, when he's only a middleweight, yeah. And when you look at him, he was only a skinny little thing. Do you know what I mean? You can't take risks in this game. You can't be losing in your first 3 fights. So safety first, get the win, and then knockouts come later. You know, winning is the priority.
So Sam, obviously you said you've been going in with bigger guys. Why are you now come down to middleweight? Is it because you noticed the guys were too big, or is it just a problem shifting the weight? What was the issue why you was fighting at a bigger weight?
Well, I started off before I was boxing on the unlicensed, boxing like 15, 16 stone, so it was a long period of time to lose the weight. So it was when I jumped into professional boxing, I ended up at light heavy, and that's what the fight got booked at. So, but as time's gone on, and I've got with coach, and my body's changing all the time, and yeah, I think the natural body weight's at middle really.
Okay, and the next one is, this is just a normal standard one. This is a nice easy one, Sam. You like this one? This is from a Luke Middleton from the email. It says, what's your prediction for the fight night? Obviously, Gordon Glissick, we've seen a few times come to UK. How do you see it going? Do you think you get your stoppage? Is it going to be points win? What's your prediction?
Well, you know what Gordon Glissick is, you know, this story with him really, but you can't take any opponent lightly. So I'm going to win, but I'm not going to say how I'm going to win, but it will be a win, definitely.
So obviously, 3 fights in now, 4th fight on Saturday. Where do you see yourself in 12 months' time, Sam? Where do you want to be in 12 months' time? Do you want to be on the edge of titles? Obviously, Steve spoke earlier on that he thinks next year is going to be a big year for you. Do you share that vision? Yeah,
definitely. If things are going right and things are carrying on, they are. I'd like to look for a Southern Area title, definitely.
So, obviously, we know Ross is your trainer, as you mentioned earlier. Just tell us a little bit about, obviously, the training, where you're training, and that kind of thing for people that are watching you for the first time, Sam.
Yeah, well, I was down at the Peacock Gym before. I've come closer to home now in South Woodham, doing a lot with the Fruit Power team and the squaddies and with Ross. So it's a lot closer to home, and doing more tickets, and it's just like brought it back to boxing back in Woodham really. So yeah.
All right, Sam, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Ross, we've also got a couple of questions for you as well.
How do I get caught up in this?
It said, this is from Liam Wright. It says, what fighters do you currently train? That's a good question.
Right, the fighters I currently train, like one of my favourites, Stokesy, Tommy Black, Chris Glibbery, my main boys that I focus on at the moment. I train a lot of the Army, the Paras. I've got loads of unlicensed fighters that all box on the IBA. I'm linked with Larry Odawami, Robert Zagba, Sam Smart. The list just goes on. You know what I mean? Flavius, the guy that won the gold. He got one of the world championships in the amateurs. If he comes back to England, I'll work with him. You know, the list just goes on really. You know.
All right, Ross. And the next question, which is a really good question actually for all trainers. It says, what's the hardest thing about being a trainer? And that's from Chris Perkins.
Just trying to make sure the lads, when they leave the gym at night, don't keep making romantic walks to the front door. Do you know what I mean? Just keeping the lads in line really, and that, and just because you don't. If you coach a fighter properly, it's a full-time job. That's why I don't want any more fighters. I've got enough, 3, 4 pros I think in the gym, 5 or 6 I work with outside of the gym, and each fighter is a complete. It's a lifestyle. It's not a job. You're coaching them in and out of the ring. You wake up in the morning, you go to bed wondering what they're eating, what they're doing. They come to you with all their problems, and that, you know, you become like dad. Do you know what I mean? So I think just the thing with it is just there's nothing about it. It's easy if you do it properly.
And the other thing I'd add to that, Ross, is what a lot of people don't understand is there's not a lot of money in it. There's not a lot of money in it for the fighters, certainly not for the coaches.
yeah, I wouldn't do it for the money. You know, like I wouldn't do this pro bit for the money. I've got like a gym full of unlicensed boxers, and that pays my mortgage, and all the rest of it, and I enjoy that. You know, I look at them sometimes and they leave me scratching my head. But the pros in the gym are strained on the gym, to be fair, because they take up so much attention. But the pros in the gym at the same time bring the normal boys through the door. Now, they help the unlicensed boys win titles, and they clean up on the unlicensed scene, and then they come out and support the pros. So like Sam, he'll do 80 tickets in the gym straight away, you know, so we're lucky like that, do you know what I mean?
Right, Ross, Steve, do you want the boys to talk a little bit more about anything in particular, or are you happy with that?
I think we've covered everything really today. I mean, you've done, questions are good. Wind it up.
So I just want to thank everyone for coming again, and I hope to see you all there on Saturday for my show Out and About.